Welcome to The Grind and Glow.
Real talk, real estate, real life.
I'm Kathy Garcia.
And I'm Megan Black. We're two unlikely friends turned business partners bringing you real, unfiltered conversations about the real estate world and the wild ride that comes with it.
From industry highs and lows to behind-the-scene moments you won't believe, we're here to keep it fun, relatable, and refreshingly real.
Expect laughs, lessons, and a little chaos along the way.
Because in real estate and life, things don't always go as planned.
Let's get real. Let's talk real estate. Let's dive in. Everybody, welcome to the podcast today. I'm super excited to have Misty Lyons on. She is actually one of the first agents that I ever had when I was a buyer's agent. She was a listing agent. And the way we met is, honestly, there was a hiccup in the transaction. And it hiccuped, and instead of being a listing agent who was kind of an asshole, you were really helpful. Yeah. You hopped on. You were like, hey, this is what we need to do. This is what we should do. You, literally spent 30 minutes on the phone with me. You did not know me. I literally was brand new. It was like my second or third transaction. I had no clue what I was doing. And, yeah, so this is Misty Lyons. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. You made it look easy, though. I didn't realize that it was one of your first transactions at that time. But, I mean, at the end of the day, being an asshole doesn't do any of the clients any good.
Exactly.
So, helping other people, that's kind of my passion anyway.
Yeah.
And, I've been new. And not only that, but even, as an experienced agent, I run into things that I don't know.
Exactly.
And I love for somebody to have patience to explain to me.
Yeah, teach me.
Yeah,
don't belittle me.
Teach me your ways.
Yeah, teach me. Show me what you're doing. I want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking. So how did you end up in real estate?
Oh, wow. So gosh knows my life as a whole craziness. I mean, I feel like I've lived 10 lives. So I was married and lived out in Texas for 8 years. My late husband owned a construction company and an import and export company. The import and export company was his baby. He said, I'm closing the construction company. And I was like, oh, no, please don't, because I enjoyed it so much. So he said, if you want it, you do it. So I kind of jumped into that, did that for several years. He passed away. I remarried. Crazy thing is I didn't have social media, during that time. I am from North Carolina, but, lived out of state for 8 years. Right. So then after he passed, I met my husband now, who also lost his wife the same year.
Wow.
And we moved to North Carolina, and I was actually supposed to start a job on Monday morning after, and I sat in my driveway crying like a baby because I was going to a $10 an hour job, and, I was just like, how is this my life? There's not anything that I had been doing the last several years. So it's kind of crazy. When I was dealing with all of my grief, my mom called me one morning, and she said that she had a dream and that God had came to her in her dream. And at that point in time, I was not hearing anything about God. I was mad at God. I just had no desire to even think about it. And she told me, she said, God came to me and he told me not to worry about you, that you would have everything that you lost back tenfold.
Wow. I love that.
And, I had gone to nursing school. I had let all of my stuff lapse. So that was why the $10 an hour job, because that was really, it was
only, you could do.
Yeah, it was what I could do. And then, something told me to grab my phone. I looked up real estate school, looked up best real estate instructor near me. Can you guess who popped up?
Travis Everett.
Travis Everett. So clicked on, back then it was Pan School of Real Estate. They had a class starting the next day. I signed up for the class sitting in my driveway and walked in the house and told my husband, I'm not going to this job tomorrow. So started real estate school the next morning. I love school.
Me too.
I just loved it. I was sad that it ended, really.
Yeah.
And then just really came out and went to work.
Good for you.
Amazing.
Yeah. I really relate with you a lot, because I think a lot of people have this idea of real estate that you have to be in a suit, you have to be in a tie, you have to be a certain thing to make money or to get people to sell with you, list or buy with you. But you're not like that at all, and I love that.
Yeah.
You're very real. Like what you see is what you get.
Well, whenever I went to, I started out at Keller Williams. I walked in. I'm from Harnett County, so a small town, but I wanted to go into, Wake County to be able to get more training, and I was, very intentional. And when I walked in and I looked around, I was like, holy shit, I'm never going to make it.
Same.
Looking like I look, I'm hair up in a bun, sometimes no makeup, maybe in, gym shorts. I just really genuinely show up as myself. And what I learned was, people in Harnett County, they don't want to work with somebody in red bottoms in a business suit. They want to work with somebody who's just like them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was one of the things I was telling Kathy. I was like, I really like the fact that Missy is really just about her community. Like your videos, your posts, your social media. I know you have it now.
Yeah,
you're killing it. Yeah, we were talking about your videos because your videos, you're pretty comical, like just naturally, like.
That was not, those videos is not at all, I look at other people, I compare myself to, to others, and, a lot of those are rally agents that I'm comparing myself to, and I look at their videos and it's, here's this house on 123 Main Street, and I'm but my videographer, young guy, he asked me one day, he was like, do you want to do video? And I was like, nah, not really. And he was like, here's a mic, here's what you say. And I ran through it, and I was like, damn, that wasn't bad.
Yeah, that was
like, I think
fun.
I can do that again.
Yeah.
And so the next time he's like, you want to do a video? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be known as the funny video girl.
It's working out for you.
It is working out for me.
Yeah, I think I saw a post you had posted, and within like 30 minutes, it had like 166 views.
I didn't post the last video. I didn't post the real one. I'll show you the real one whenever we leave, because it looked like I was humping a tree. So I had him edit that part out, and he's like, "You got to promise me when you get over yourself, you'll go ahead and post it." So maybe I'm gonna post it today.
There's a girl I follow. She's actually a Florida realtor.
Yeah.
Her name is Era Cooper Page or Era Page Cooper. I can't remember, but she's hilarious. You guys kind of have a similar vibe.
Yeah.
Like she's very like the part of Florida she's in. It's like more rural, and she just has fun. Like she dressed up like I think one of the last videos she did. She like dressed up in like a little sundress with a hat and was doing like all kinds of like funny like Southern, like she sat on the roof and was like, I just wish a man could come save me, and buy this house for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I'm gonna try that one.
It's just fun. Like I feel like a lot of it's so freaking stuffy.
Yeah. And I sit in a lot of rooms or rooms, classes, from a lot of the top people from across the country. And, the constant thing that I hear all the time is do something different.
Yeah.
Quit being like everybody else. Different stands out. People notice different. And so, I've just really embraced that. I don't like to hear myself talk. I don't like to, hear myself on video. I feel like it's cornbread, My mom works with me, so I'll hear her at the front after I post a video, and it's like, hey, y'all. And I'm like, I don't want to hear this. But, at the end of the day, you hear me whenever you meet me in person.
Right.
And you know how country I am, and you know how I sound. So,
but it's authentic.
Yeah, it is.
And authenticity goes so much further than anything else.
It does.
And I feel the same way. Like I'm very much like myself. Like I like to dress up a little bit, so I do.
Especially when you wear your high heels, I love that.
Yeah, I do.
Do you wear high heels?
No,
Yeah, exactly.
They're like little platforms.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I have never seen Megan wear high heels. Like, I'm going to need to see this.
It's actually very funny, and I can't walk very well, so you'll see me. I'm just stumbling.
I can't either, so don't go mad.
If you imagine like a you see those deer when they first born, they're like
wobbly.
Yeah, that's me in heels. But I do have these pair of shoes. They're like my dress shoes.
Yeah.
And they're black, and they have like just like a maybe like a little platform. They're platform, not like. They're masculine, feminine. They're like but they're interesting.
Well, I'm going to have to check them out because I might go wear them.
They make my butt look good though.
Your shoes? Well, I feel like that about my flip flops.
I mean, it's hard to make this butt look bad, But yeah, no. But I feel the same way. Like I remember when I was on the team I was on, it was very much like you have to do this, you have to wear this and that and that. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, that was honestly one of the main reasons I left the team was because I was like, I can't be myself.
Yeah.
And if I can't be myself, I'm unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, I was in a closet for a long ass time. You're not putting me back in there. Like, I'm not going to hide parts of myself or configure myself into something that I'm not. Like, I'm just not doing it anymore.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
because everybody, you're encouraged to work with your sphere of influence. The people who like you, know you, and love you. And the people who like you, know you, and love you, they know when you're fake.
Exactly.
And they'll call you out on it, too.
Heck yeah, they will.
Or I hope
And
they
it
will.
feels fake.
If they don't, they're not your real friend.
My best friend will call me out in a heartbeat. When I first started, because, when I first started, I was trying to blend in. Like, I remember, even in my interview video, like, trying to present more feminine.
An interview video?
Yeah, I had to do an interview video. Yeah, I know.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's still on YouTube, but just like private. I'll show it to you. It's absolutely awful. I did it with no pants. As like a form of like rebellion.
Yeah.
I was like, if they're gonna make me record an interview video, I'm
doing
not
it
wearing
naked.
I'm not
Half
wearing
naked.
pants. So I have like on a blazer and a shirt and no pants.
I'm going to need to see that.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Rebel.
And knowing, seeing it knowing.
Yeah,
which is-
exactly.
That's
Like,
hilarious.
no one else knows. Yeah, no
Oh
one
my
else knew.
gosh.
But I told them after the fact, and they were like, "Did you really?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
That's great.
Yeah, no, it was a good time. But yeah, so I feel like watching you. It's really fun, honestly. Like,
Thank you.
I want you to be successful, genuinely, because I genuinely think that you have a good heart. I mean, look, we are a little rough on the edges sometimes, but the edges are raw.
Yeah.
Which
Well, the edges are what build us. They're what made us. Everything that I've gone through in this life, I feel like I talk a lot of times about being dealt a shitty hand. I feel like if anybody's been dealt a shitty hand, like I feel like I have. I've been through a lot in this life. And like I said, I look back on my life and I'm like, God, I can't even remember. I can't even believe that's who I was back then. I feel like I've changed so much over the last, 20 years. But I don't think I could be who I am today had I not gone through all of the things. There was a time in my life after I divorced that I went to my parents and I said, I want to go to real estate school. And my parents were like, oh, no. That's a horrible idea.
Yeah.
You just need to go get a blue collar job, maybe with the county or, something like that where you have some retirement.
Yep. I know, me too.
That just, I don't know, it just never sat well with me. And I went on a completely different route and did something different. But I believe if I had done real estate at that point in time in my life when my kids were little, being freshly divorced, I don't think I could have been what I am today.
I actually completely understand. It was similar for me. Like, for me, it was like one of those things where I become an agent when I need it to. And I remember I called my mom because my mom is super supportive. I love my mom. Amazing person. She made me who I was, genuinely. But I called her and I was like, so I'm going to quit my job and be a realtor full time. And she was like, okay, are you sure? Like, she had those questions, but she was like, well, I know you're going to be successful at anything that you do because you're a successful person. And it was just really reassuring. But genuinely, had I done that when I was 27 or 28, when
would you have had the life
divorce,
experiences? I mean,
no.
would those life experiences have been there to be able to relate to your clients and genuinely help them?
And what if I had the energy? Because real estate, the thing about real estate, in my opinion, is it's not that it's super hard. The job, it's mentally hard. And
it's really hard for me to turn it off.
Same.
I mean, from the time that I get home at night, it's been, I really, really, really struggle with work-life balance. I still do to this day because I never feel like I do enough. I feel like, there's always something more that I could do. And if I'm not pouring into my business, I feel like I'm failing. Even though, I know that I've been super successful. I know that.
Yeah, you are.
But it doesn't always feel like it to me because I feel like there's just so much there's more.
Yeah, there's something else out there. I think that's kind of honestly what makes us successful. Because if we were to feel comfortable where we are, like Sophia asked me the other day, she goes, so what are your next steps? Like, what do you think will make your business grow? And I'm super optimistic.
That's a great question.
I know, right? She does this stuff to me all the time. And when she first says it to me, I'm always like, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm just like blessed and highly favored by God.
Me too.
Yay!
I feel like I am.
Yeah.
Yes. And like I tell people that all the time and they like laugh at me, but like one time Sophia asked me, she said, so where do you think where are you getting your next clients from? And I was like, everywhere. They're coming to me everywhere. And she was just like, rolled her eyes at me a little bit.
Yeah.
She thinks I'm
but
a
they
little
do.
crazy.
I
They
feel like
find you.
whatever you put out there, the energy that you put out into the world is exactly what you're going to get back.
Exactly.
I can't tell you how many times I'll, because I'm looking at our board and I'm like, dang, I haven't taken a listing in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a listing today.
Yeah.
And I don't just get one listing, I get 2 listings today. And
Literally.
it's like, thank you, God,
Yeah.
because what I put out there that I'm going to do,
It happens.
it happens.
Every single time. And if it doesn't happen, I know it's not meant for me.
Well, or I didn't do the work to make it
Or
happen.
I didn't do the work to make it
It's
happen.
on me most of the time.
Yeah, agreed.
Or I blocked my own blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By being negative.
Yeah.
Or doing something crazy. Like a lot of times, like I have to check myself, make sure that I'm like staying in line with my morals and values.
Yeah.
Because the way that it works with me, some people, you can believe in karma or not, I don't care.
Yeah.
Karma hits me quick.
It's real.
Like if I make a bad joke or do something, it's like an instant karma. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, can I get 15 minutes? You
Yeah.
know? But like, God won't let me stray.
Yeah. And it's, it's really crazy. But I want to ask y'all something. Have you noticed, like, in the people around you, like, people are becoming more aware?
Very.
People are becoming more aware about their thoughts. People are becoming more aware about their health. People, are becoming more aware and more conscious about their mental health. I see people doing affirmations, doing, more spiritual work, meditations, and really trying to get to know who they are. Like, I feel like I've been on a mission on that. I don't know if it's just because I've been really trying to focus in on who I am and who I want to be, and how I the positive things. But it's like when I look around me, everybody else is doing the same thing, and it seems like it's more so now than ever.
Well, I think it's who you surround yourself with, because also the other coin, right? Before you became Misty.
Yep.
Misty Lyons, the Misty Lyons, right? So who were those people that you were around?
I've lost a lot of people.
In my point. So sometimes you outgrow people, outgrow situations, and you become this person, and you kind of surround yourself with people that are like-minded, right? Otherwise, if you talk to your old friends, they're going to be like, meditate.
Yeah.
That is so stupid. Yeah. Or they, have other opinions. So I think when you level up with people who are
Well,
on
they
the
say
same
your
dreams.
network is your net worth.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love my network. My network is amazing.
Mine too.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's interesting because I had a friend on TikTok, and God just kind of like laid it on my heart. I like sent her this video, and it was basically like just saying like how lovely and amazing of a person you are. And she sent me a message back, and she was like, I really needed this today. Like, I'm having a beef with a friend, and I'm just not sure where it's going. And I know this girl. I love this woman. She is a sweetheart, like just a genuinely sweet soul. And I told her, I said, sometimes God puts people in your life to show you what it looks like if you don't grow.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's true.
Well, it's a season, reason, or lifetime. I learned that early in my 20s, season, reason, lifetime. People come into your life for one of those reasons. A season is to teach you a lesson in a very short time. The reason is just because you need this daggone lesson, no matter how long it takes for you to finally get it. And then, you have your lifetime people who no matter how bad you F up, they're going to be there. They're going to love you. They're going to stand beside you, forever, no matter what.
yeah,
And
tell you like it's it.
and I think when you can start to recognize these people, like I think back, to people who are no longer in my life, or, they did serve I'm not going to say serve a purpose, but I mean, there was a mutual purpose served during that time.
Right.
And I look back and I'm like, okay, well, that probably would have never have gotten done. That part of what I needed wouldn't have happened without that person. While I've outgrown them, or I don't know if they've outgrown me, but I definitely have outgrown them. They definitely served
a purpose
in that time.
Yeah. I talk about my ex-husband with this a lot, and yes, I was married to a man.
Side note.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Every time I tell somebody, they're like, "What? You were?" I'm like, "Yes."
I did that one time.
There was a moment. It was back. We were in the closet, but
He was too.
A little bit. But anyway, side note. But
I got Megan thrown off.
Yeah. But I would look everything that I went through with him. I mean, it was traumatic. The experience I went through with him. I learned so much. How to really regulate my emotions. How to not let other people control my emotions. How to manage my anxiety and all of those things. Like I never would have learned had I had not went through those experiences with him. And I use them all the time as a realtor, like, because this job is emotional as crap.
And I'm an empath. I love people. I want to see, people happy. I'm a fixer.
Yes.
Let me fix everything. Let me fix this for you. And so a lot of times, I feel like I take all the stress that my clients are feeling through this process. Like, it's sitting on my shoulders too.
It's very personal.
Very personal.
It's not just business.
But I've had to do work on that. The only person that I can control is myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can control how I respond. I can control how I react. And, of course, I've read Let Them. And I think, I didn't need to read but the first 3 chapters of the book. The first 3 chapters of that book taught me everything that I needed to know. I can only control me.
That's right.
What everybody else does, that is on them, and they have to live with their own consequences. And I feel like I used to walk around, with just a pain in my stomach of stress, me wanting to fix other people's problems.
Yeah.
And once I realized, I can't.
Yeah, Sophia gives me a hard time now because I'm the same way. Like, I'm a fixer.
It's beautiful, though, to be able to understand I can't, they have to do the work for themselves.
They have to do it. And, one thing I learned, so when I was going through what I was going through with my ex, I started in therapy, and I started in therapy, to be honest with you, thinking, well, if I can learn enough, I can help him. Right? That's genuinely.
I've been there.
Yeah, it's genuinely what I thought. And what I realized was I learned enough to help me.
To walk away, probably. You found the strength.
To walk away. I learned enough to
love yourself.
To love myself. And now, my therapist told me this one time, and it hit me so strong, and I've never forgotten it, and I use it with my clients too. If someone doesn't want to work with me, if someone doesn't love me, they're an idiot, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't work with idiots.
I don't either.
I don't work with idiots.
Yeah, and I only want to work with those who want to work with me.
Same.
And when I do, a buyer agency agreement or, whatever, I tell them right then, if you ever decide that you don't want to work with me, we do not need a mutual termination. You send me a text, let me know, because you know what? I might decide I don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
And if that time ever comes, I will let you know.
Yeah, I do I do the exact same thing.
It's good to be clear because I think it also sends a message of I'm in control just as much as you are.
Yeah.
And I think setting the tone just for what the transaction is going to be like, what I'm going to expect from you, and what you're going to receive from me, I think is going to be key.
I had an agent tell me one time that when she sent over a buyer agency agreement, she sent over a signed termination.
Oh gosh, it's like putting.
But why not? But why not? If you can send somebody a termination that says, "Hey, here."
Yeah.
If you, because it's not unilateral, it has to. It's supposed to be mutual. Here, if you ever decide you don't want to work with me, just send this to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like, especially with all the NAR changes and things, about buyer agency, some people are hesitant, or I hear agents say that their clients are hesitant, and it may be just, not explaining it, as well as needed. But, if you give somebody an out,
they feel less boxed in. Yeah, and when you feel less boxed in, you don't feel as panicky.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually a great idea. I don't see anything wrong with that because I'm not the way that I feel is I typically don't go into a transaction worried they're going to cancel with me
Correct.
because
Yeah.
I'm
going to do my
phenomenal.
job.
Yeah,
I'm going to love on you. I'm
Yes.
going to be knowledgeable. I'm going to give you
I'm going to communicate with
yes.
you. Yeah, I'm going to do every single thing possible to make sure that this transaction is as smooth as possible. So if I'm doing something you don't think I should be doing and you want to try another agent, go for it.
Have at it.
Yeah, if you think you can find somebody better than me, by all means, hon. Yeah.
And they've come back because I remember you had clients who have come back and like.
I literally just closed one. She did. I went to the listing appointment, sat down, talked to her, did my whole spiel, and she loved me, right? But we got to the end of the into the end of the appointment. She didn't want to sign because she had 2 more agents coming, and she wanted to be respectful. And I'm not pushy.
Yeah,
like,
me
I'm just
either.
not pushy. If you want to sign, great. If you don't, I'm fine with that. So I leave. She ends up signing with another agent. She was with that agent for like 120 days. She calls me. She's like, I need somebody else.
Help.
Like, this is not. Yeah, she did. She said help, and I'm like, well, this is what you have to do. You have to cancel with them. I'm legally not allowed to give you any advice or anything like that until you cancel. She cancels. We sign together, and girl, the transaction. We fell out of contract twice. One time we had $7,500 due diligence.
Nice.
I know, but I was like. And I'm over here like, she was so nice. But the amount of times that we had to communicate and have these conversations and talk, and I mean, my hourly rate with her was probably like $10 an hour.
$10 an hour.
Yeah.
But you know what? Some of those at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? I don't care.
Oh, I could care less.
I want to, make this work. I want to, give this client a good experience.
She wanted to go to Florida to move with her kids and her grandkids. Mm-hmm. You know where that woman's at right now?
Where?
Packing on the way to Florida.
Is she? That's
Yes,
so awesome.
I know.
And it's such a good feeling to
is.
be able to genuinely help people.
Yes. That's why I'm doing this.
It's one of the hardest things. I mean, it's one of the most. I remember when Miles and I were moving from Louisiana to North Carolina. People, unless you have gone through a cross-country move, you do not understand the level of stress and anxiety because you're leaving this one house and you're moving. And, I know like for us, there were some issues with the loan. And it's like we're sitting there with a packed trailer looking like the Clampetts. And it's like, do we go? Do we stay? And, just the feeling of being in such limbo. Yeah. And I was actually representing us in a FSBO before I even was a realtor. Wow. So, I didn't have the agent to lean on.
Yeah.
So it was
stressful.
Yeah, I would never do it again.
No, I would never recommend a FSBO.
If I want to buy properties, in other places, including the North Carolina mountains, but I promise you, if I were to buy a property today in the North Carolina mountains, I would not represent myself. No. I would hire an agent and I would pay them because I'm not an expert in the mountains.
That's exactly
Could I do the
how
transaction? Absolutely. Could I negotiate it for myself? Yes. But
should I?
No. Nope. I need that expertise. I need somebody who understands that topography because it's so different than here.
It's a whole different market. I don't understand. I don't know that market.
Yeah.
I have houses in Danville. Now I bought them on.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah, I bought them for steals.
Yeah.
Like
what year did you buy them?
I bought one in 2018.
And you did good.
Yeah, I got that one for $28,000. Oh. Yeah, I know.
So you rent those out, right?
Yeah, I rent all of them.
Yeah. How many do you
have? We have 5 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet you wish you'd have bought more, don't you?
I'm trying. I'm literally trying.
I mean,
it's
I'm
hard
not going to say it's late, but
it's late.
If you, well, I mean.
Compared to 2018.
But is it? It's kind of like me looking at my dad who's 83 and I'm like, don't you wish you'd have bought all this land down here? And he's like, honey. I was like, the land was $100 an acre. And he's like, yeah, I was making 27 cents an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
That much money was just not a thing. He's like, why don't you go out and buy land? I'm like, Daddy, land is, no, I'm, I mean, yeah. But I'm like, land is expensive, in Harnett now compared to what I remember it being.
Oh, I'm trying to buy everything.
And he's like, honey, it's the same thing.
It's the same
It's
thing.
just a different time.
That's
You think you can't afford it with the amount of money that you make. It was the exact same thing, at a time when you're asking me, why didn't I buy? And it's true. I don't think you can go wrong with real estate regardless of what you buy because it may take time to recoup.
Yeah. The best time to buy was 2008.
What's now?
The second best time to buy is now.
Yes.
Right? And that's the truth. I think a lot of people do get hung up on like pricing or this or interest rates or that. And I don't care. Like, I genuinely don't care because I know, because I've experienced it. If you hold on to it,
Even if you overpay.
yes,
Even if you
overpay, just hold on.
What?
So what?
what?
Yeah, give it 10 years. You won't have overpaid.
Yeah,
You'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
exactly.
Don't just sit there for a second.
It's kind of like the stock market, but better.
Yes.
You know, the returns are better.
Returns are better, and it's real.
Yes.
It's the only thing that is a real property. It's you know, I buy gold and silver because I'm like a crazy lady who wants to, you know, have a little bit of just in case money. You know, God forbids the dollar goes down. But real estate, I feel the same way. Like, real estate, it's real, it's property. Everyone's always going to need a house to live in. And so there's something there, there's value in it that is just like intrinsic. It's necessary value. So.
You know, it's funny that you bring up gold because back in the day, I was a salesperson before I knew I was a salesperson. I've done some really crazy things like sell rainbow vacuum cleaners. I was their top salesperson. I went cruises and everything else. And
both of my parents sold rainbow vacuum.
Did they?
Yeah,
They're
I went
great.
on so many.
Yes.
Girl, we
I
went
made
to
good money back then.
They loved it, and
Yeah.
you mean it was crazy too. Like, if y'all have never seen a rainbow vacuum cleaner in action,
I'm like,
hey,
I could do
sucks.
it. I could do it. Yeah, literally. I could do a demo right now.
Oh my
It's
God.
so good.
That's hilarious.
But I also there was probably, gosh, I wonder what year it was. Probably like in 2007, right? 2008, 2009. I had went to this gold party. My mother-in-law invited me, and I was like, what is this? Bring all your broken gold. I was like, oh, I got my little pile, you know, from high school. So I brought it, and of course they paid me out. And I asked the girl, I was like, how do you get into this? And she's like, oh, they're not hiring. And I'm like, don't tell me because I'm about to find out. So I called corporate. I called all these places, and I'm like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And of course they were like, okay, we'll connect you with the local person, and they did. And I was just like, look, don't tell me no because I want to do these parties.
And
it
I'm
looks
good.
fun. Yeah, I was good before I knew I was good.
Yeah.
And so I started doing it. And back then, the price of gold was only like $1,400, which was, I mean, while I was doing it, it got up to like $1,700, and people were just going freaking nuts over the price of gold.
Yeah.
And what is it now?
I have no idea.
Come on, man.
I don't genuinely. You have to look it up. I don't know.
I think it's like over 2,000. It was like $2,300 the last
That's
time
crazy.
I looked.
Wow.
Yeah, I buy it randomly. I like usually just like when I have like a lump sum of savings.
Oh God,
What is it?
$33.54.
$33.54. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's gone down.
See, when I was a dental assistant, we used to take everybody's teeth that we would
The
pull.
gold teeth.
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
send them into the just.
We would ask the clients, the patients were like, do you want, your silver or your gold? And we would take all the silver and the gold and we put it in a little container. And when the container gets full, we make a phone call. The guy comes.
Cha-ching.
And he gives us our money. Yeah. And then everybody,
And it was probably really half because these. Oh, I probably shouldn't tell their secrets.
Not tell
but when you go directly to the refinery, you get paid really well.
I should have went to the refinery.
I could have taught you something.
Maybe I'll tell my friends, their assistants.
Yeah.
If you're a dental assistant, listen to this.
I'll give you the refinery number.
Yeah, we made a buttload. Like, I think one time we made like $800, which when
It
you're-
is. It's no joke. And imagine today. what
Yeah,
they're making.
and they're not my teeth. I'm just.
But it's just, but it's just showing, the price of, these things increase, just like the price of real estate increases, the price of gold increases, stocks.
Yes.
Even stocks, you buy them today, even if you overpay for them. I mean, I got some I feel like I've overpaid for that I
sure.
bought prior to everything crashing. Who cares? I'm going to hold them. They're going to eventually go up, and
It'll
it's going to
be
be fine.
fine.
And if they don't, something else that I own is going to go up, and it's going to cover what I lost.
It'll be fine.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah, and real estate is just a money making machine. If you have to have a long term game. I always tell people real estate is not a short term. I mean, it is for some
Good.
people. Yeah, some
I
people.
mean, from 2019 to 2021,
Right.
that was a great, but that was That was a fluke.
That was a fluke. But I mean, like, honestly, like, I think about the fact, like, just from 2018 until today, which 2025's, I've made so much money in real estate. Like, it's absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to get in real estate. I have a client right now who called me, and they have a house they want to sell, and they want to buy something else. They bought their house in 2016. Well, now they are going to be able to purchase something that is what they want. They bought their first time home, which I tell people all the time, don't get hung up on where or when. Like, you're just going to be there for a short time.
It's, buy what you can afford.
Buy what you can afford.
And something that you can put a little elbow grease in and, make nicer during the time that you've been there, because the elbow grease is what really pays off. It's not big things. The big things do, of course, but
I feel like your county,
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's booming out there.
It is. Harnett County is the second fastest growing county in North Carolina, next to Johnston.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This new bypass is really going to, man, I'm a little torn about it. People say to me all the time, oh, I bet you're loving all these, all these subdivisions. And the answer is I really don't go in them. I don't do a whole lot. Most of my business is resale because I'm a big sphere of influence girl. I won't see any sales off of these new construction. I mean, I'm getting a few of them now, but, people who bought last year, you can imagine the situation that they're in. We're having to, it's kind of hard to get creative when there's no equity.
Yeah.
And of course, interest rates where they are, home prices, we're seeing reductions and all the things. But, I'm not going to see any return on those big subdivisions probably, as far as my business for several years. I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad about...
Because you're a country girl.
I am.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be really, really, really hard watching, the area that I'm from turn into Fuquay, turn into Holly Springs, but
definitely headed that direction too.
It's here and it's going to happen, and we're just going to have to embrace it, and hopefully responsible growth.
Yes. Well, that's something. Sophia works for DRB. I don't know if you're familiar, but I always tell her to be proud of it, because there are some home builders that suck, And I really wish, considering the amount of, market share that a lot of these big companies have, things that ride with, Shmee, Schmar, Schmorton, you know what I'm saying? Their builds they're fine, but they're not.
Well, they're built for square footage.
They're built for square footage.
They're built for square footage. They're not. I have to scratch my back. I'm sorry.
Scratch your back, girl.
Be myself.
Be yourself.
It's itching.
Yes.
It's squirming, and I'm done squirming. But you're right. They're built for square footage.
And not quality.
I'm worried.
Yeah.
I'm worried about some of the, subdivisions that are out there. What are they going to look like in 10 to 15 years?
I really hope that the counties and the cities, will take into consideration not just, what's building or who's coming, but really take into consideration the quality of build that they're building.
I don't think they do.
They don't, which is frustrating. It's production. Yeah, and it's so sad because it's and
it's, getting people into, a home that is affordable but allows the square footage to be able to support their families.
Yeah.
I had a lady call me, I don't know, probably about a year and a half ago, and she was out Midwest, and she had bought one of the big one of the builders' homes, and when she called me, she was crying, and I was like, what's wrong? And they had actually built her house on top of a sinkhole, and it had caved in from the center, and of course her house was condemned, and there was just really no recourse. Insurance wouldn't pay. And so she had put down, a good amount of money. It was probably like $100,000 that she would never see again, because she couldn't sell the home. She couldn't. Right. I don't know. I just really hope that the growth is
smart,
as responsible, as it can be.
No, I completely agree. There are definitely times I had a client recently, and he went and looked at a townhome, with a builder, and I mean, like, literally, it was like a 3-story townhome. It was awful, you know, and like I just remember.
What are you gonna put a thing over your mouth?
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what I'm gonna do. And for you guys listening, I just like said it, but didn't say what the builder was, because anybody who's an agent knows exactly who this builder is. It was just like a really shitty build, you know. And I like took him. I was like, look, we can buy this, or let's go over here and look at these. And like literally, it was like $20,000 more for a DRB home. And like when you compare, you know, DRB to, I'm going to just say it, Ryan Homes, it's a mountain of a difference, you know? And like, I think a lot of times, like, we're not paying attention. Communities need to start paying attention to these builders, because they're just national builders. They're coming in, and they're mom and pops who own, or kids who've got left land. They're giving them pennies for the dollar on this land, and then they're building these like crappy homes that are not going to last. The community's not going to last. And then what's going to happen is that community, that part of the town, is going to have these shitty homes in it, and then people aren't going to want to live there, so it's going to become a rundown area of town. And it's like you're creating the thing that we don't want.
The thing that we don't want.
I want this house to last for 100 years.
Yeah.
You might have to replace some things and
These
do some
homes aren't
things.
gonna last for 100
They're
years.
not. They're not. It sucks.
No, but and I think that's why a lot of times I stick to resale. You know, because for the most part, you know, like you get in, like over in Hardin County, like in Irwin. I know you've been over there.
I
these
think I've
mill
sold
homes.
something.
And, you know, when you get into the attics of these mill homes and you're looking, I mean, a 2x4 is a 2x4.
It's a 2x4.
And it's rough cut.
Yes.
And you know somebody was out in their backyard running trees, you know. No termite is going to ever touch this wood.
Right.
Never.
Yes.
And just the sturdiness of those homes, you know, they've lived through a lot. And most of them were built in the early 1900s.
Yes.
And they're still standing there strong as ever.
And they're pretty.
And
they
they're
might not have closets.
And yeah. Yeah. But they're
pantry.
gonna be there
Yes.
no matter what.
Yeah.
And it's not today's quality.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that, like, just, like, understanding, like, what's going on in your community and being involved in the community is really important. And
being authentic.
And being
Be
authentic.
your flipping self.
Yes.
People see you every day. It's weird how you see yourself when you are watching yourself from afar, but do the things you're scared of.
Yeah. And
Just
people
do it.
notice. Just
I'm
do
posting
it.
that
Just do
damn
it.
video today of me.
We want to
humping
see
Please.
it. We got to hold you
Yeah.
accountable. Misty,
Me
if you
humping
had
this tree.
something to give a new agent, somebody who's listening, starting out, just brand new, right? You're in these rooms, you're watching people do the things, and you're like, am I good enough? Do I have it in me to be an agent? How am I ever going to be like those women and men on stage? Like, what is your advice to a new baby agent?
My biggest thing in how I built my business, I had no social media when I came back here. I came back with a different last name. Yes, I'm from the area, but a lot had changed in those short years. I mean, a lot. And all I did was I sat down at my kitchen counter and I called every single person that I knew, anybody that I could get on the phone. When I got tired of doing that, I would send Facebook messages to the people who I had added, and really getting out into the community and having conversations with people. Conversations is the absolute key in this business. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be perfect. Building the intimate relationships with people. I mean, that has been the whole entire key. I know I told you that, 6 months in as a solo agent, I was doing 10 transactions a month.
Yeah.
How?
Right.
I had just continually, reached out to people. And in those 2 months, I sat at my kitchen counter and made calls, 8 to 10 hours a day. I did 3 years worth of real estate work during that time. It takes the average real estate agent 3 years to catch their snap and start becoming a little bit productive in this business. And it's 3 years because they finally had enough conversations.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yep.
So I think, another thing is who you surround yourself with. You know, are you going to surround yourself with givers? You know, people who are willing to say, you know what, here's my book, here's what I do, this is what you need to do, let me help you, let me show you. I think that's just as equally as important as having the conversations, because you got to know what to say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think when you talk about surrounding yourself with givers, I completely agree. I was talking to my mom last night about like greed. The last thing I ever want to be is greedy.
Yes.
I'd rather be poor.
I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it all away.
Same.
And if you don't want it, I'm giving it to you anyway.
Yeah, you can have it anyway. you don't want I feel good about it. You gave me,
Yeah.
and that's how this friendship started.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the conversations. I feel like, I hope that when people listen, they'll see the authenticity and see who you are. And if anybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
I'm old, so I'm on Instagram, but not nearly as much as I'm on Facebook. I feel like most of my people are on Facebook, so you can find me there. I'm really easy to find, and reach out.
It's Misty.
I will answer. I do all of my own stuff, so
Yeah.
it's Misty Lyons.
Lyons with a Y.
Yep, Lyons with a Y.
Lyons with a Y.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Yes, thank you, and Kathy,
Thank
for
you.
having me. I've
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I know that we, didn't really know each other before we
Yeah,
met before,
yeah,
but if you're a friend of Megan's, you're definitely a friend of mine.
I'm an A+.
Yes.
We're actually very, it's funny because if you would have told me that I'd have been best friends with Kathy
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Be like, Kathy who?
Yeah. I'm like, man, Kathy?
What?
You know,
What the heck?
but we're both doers and we're both givers.
And it changes everything.
It really
It
does.
completely changes everything.
Yeah, and like you said, who you surround yourself with. Kathy's, I think both of us have, our businesses both grown because we are so transparent with each other.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing at your listing appointment? I'm doing this. What are you doing?
Or even with other people. And I think that's talk about blessings. It just comes back to you, right?
Yeah.
Because I want everybody to succeed. I remember, like you said, being that brand new agent, clueless. And when I see people kind of have the same starting point, and so many people have left the industry. We talk about this all the time. Even
And
our
there's going to be
friends.
more.
Oh gosh,
let's be real.
Yeah.
But they should, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be
Hey.
mean.
Well, some definitely.
If you're not going to do a good job for your client, please
Yeah.
leave.
I think the market's definitely getting harder.
Agreed.
But if you've done the work,
Yep.
it can never, I don't care what market it is, it can never be hard.
No, I agree. Somebody at the bank that asked me the other day because I was cashing my check, and she said, "Do you like your job?" And I was like, "I love my job. I love what I do." And she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "I'm telling you, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I get paid to go out and volunteer. I get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like
It
that's
cracks me up that you say that, because when I was a kid, I got in trouble constantly for talking, and I got in trouble constantly for being really strong-willed. And so I tell my mom all the time, I'm like, "Ha! I get paid to talk, and I get paid to be determined. Look at me.
yeah. Look at me go now. Sit me in a corner. Nobody puts baby.
Nobody."
That's hilarious.
Well, you guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the show today, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
That was fun.